Bada bing bada.
Hi. We have a guest today.
Yay.
Our first time. We have Shoshana Greenberg here. Do
Oh,
I
the
do
full
full name?
government name.
Yeah, do I do the
Government
government
name.
name?
I mean, I have nothing to hide, so that's fine.
Should we just
That-
say Shoshana? We have Shoshana here.
As you can see, this is a really professional environment show. We really take it to the most professional place it can be. So
Right, preparedness is key. And I feel like as much as we did prepare, we did not prepare for that introduction.
we never do. And there's always that one point where you're like, okay, who's gonna talk first? Like when we do that, we know our intro because we do it the same way every time. But then afterwards it's like it's just a free for all.
It really
well,
is.
and
Yeah.
that dang millennial pause. We are cursed with it.
Yes.
What is that even?
We just think
Someone explain this to me
before we sometimes speak.
So I have one update. So our update section is like things from previous episodes that we're just like giving updates on. Have you heard? Huh?
I'm so happy there's an update for this. I just looked at it.
Yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
update. I just kind of wanted to loop Shoshana into this one because she has a RAV4, and I don't know if she has heard.
What happened?
Remember how we got the RAV4 when we were in Oregon?
Yes.
My ass has been sore. Like it bruised my tailbone or something. Those seats?
Passenger or driver?
Driver.
Oh no.
And I don't know if my butt's just not shaped right for their seats or something, but like to this day, I still have pain.
We need to get you an adjustment.
It's
we
like
need to take
on
legal
my
action,
tailbone.
I think.
I know that's good.
Yeah.
Where
What
is the
year?
lawsuit for this? Yeah.
What year is this RAV4? Yeah, that is.
It's probably a new one, right? Because rental companies usually have like the newest.
Not to invalidate your experience. It's not my experience, but I do have a
Mhm.
2018.
Right. And theirs is probably like.
Does your butt hurt?
No.
Yeah, how's your butt? It's good.
But yeah, feeling great. Well, sore from working
Tori,
out, but
you've been personally victimized by this RAV4, I think.
That's got to be it. Yeah.
Yeah, like it
sounds like it came for you specifically. Because is Brian's butt feeling okay?
No, he's fine. The baby's fine. The baby was in a car seat, but the car seat was on the RAV4 seat. So
well, yeah,
it's
like
a Princess and the Pea situation.
Whoa. Whoa. That weirds me out when that happens so bad. My best friend and I do that all the time. And when we were in college in art school, we had an art history class together. And there's this one painting called Giovanni Arnolfini and his wife. And there's nothing remarkable about it. Like
except the name.
Except
right,
the name.
that's
and we were like almost dead asleep one time in our dorm, and one of us like sat up to remind the other of something, and then both at the same time we went Giovanni Arnolfini, and it made no sense. Like it did not make sense for the conversation for us to either have said that, and so now that's how we say I love you. We say Giovanni Arnolfini because it's like we do that shit a lot. So I see you.
Also,
Whoa.
were you guys like possessed by Giovanni in this moment or something?
Yes, I think so. And his
strange.
wife. And his
And
wife.
his
His wife's in the painting too. I don't know. It made no sense, but it made all the sense. So,
I love that.
So funny.
There's something about living with your best friend that I feel like, because Sam and I would often have similar situations happen where we would like down the hall just have the same like verbal stimmings, like we would just make these noises.
if you have someone you can just make sounds with, stick with them.
Yeah.
Stick with them.
It was the perfect roommate situation. I mean, poor Austin, he's probably fine, but
that's incredible. It is so special living with your friends. Okay, so that was our update, RAV4, and
I'm so sorry for what you're going through, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I just hope it heals up one of these days.
I don't think
it's been a while.
It has been a while.
I do think you need to go to a chiropractor for that one. Get myself happy.
Yeah, just.
It's just like I feel like it's more of a bruise. I don't think it's like an adjustment thing.
Yeah, that does seem like that. That's odd, Tori.
I do feel from
Yeah.
a professional standpoint that maybe it's not a bruise.
It feels
I'm
bruisey.
qualified to make this statement.
Yeah, did you guys like hike or anything when you were there? Did you do like
Yeah.
strenuous activity?
No. We had the baby. I mean, it was like a very easy hike.
Gotcha.
It was sitting. It was the sitting.
It was just too much sitting.
It was
How long is that flight?
with
That
the
is a long
traveling
flight,
though.
too.
Yeah, that's a lot
Yeah.
of sitting.
But that's what, like, the plane seats never hurt my butt. And like I travel in planes all the time, and I didn't experience the pain while I was sitting in the plane seats until after sitting in the RAV4 seat.
It's just that
And now I
discomfort.
just experience the pain anytime I'm in any seat. So what's going on this week? How's the week going for us?
Yeah, it was okay. It was all right. I had a lot of meetings though, and that always makes me very grumpy because I feel like I have so much to do, and to
Yeah.
stop and talk to someone for 45 minutes, I just don't have time for that.
Can I just rant about my week for a second?
Absolutely.
I have
Please do.
nothing. I have really nothing good to say.
Understood.
No.
I will meet you there. I will meet you in that place.
We got lice, so that's been a whole 2-week debacle. It's gone. We have exterminated those
You
little
did it.
guys, so at least there's that, I guess.
But it's so time consuming.
Yes.
It takes forever. You have to touch every surface in your house, basically.
Yes, and in your car, and it's a lot for someone who doesn't have a baby, and then on top of that, a sick baby.
Yeah.
So
Did you have to treat him too? Like, did you have to put the lice?
he
stuff
did
in?
not have any. I didn't find anything, so I didn't even look
He's
into
got,
how
like,
to go
3
about that
hairs,
with the
right?
baby.
Like,
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't.
So blonde.
He's so
Yes,
blonde.
you would see it. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd just be like, "Doo, doo, 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 doo."
Right. You would see him from a mile away, I feel like.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's been a whole thing, but we got rid of it. The baby is sick. My poor little sweet guy. We're supposed to be going to our first concert tonight, like since having the baby. So in like a year. I think our last concert was this concert last year when I was pregnant. And it's supposed to be my mom's first night having the baby overnight. And
Aw.
I
He's
just
sick.
I can't,
Yeah.
like I can't while he's
I
sick.
know how you are. Like, you're one of those moms that's like, no, that's my baby. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
I also super relate to the, like, because we're not sleeping through the night quite yet either, and I couldn't let Aaron's mom watch them overnight. I'm like, you'd be up all night long.
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah, that's how it
a
was with my
lot.
mom. Yeah, for the longest time, I'm like, you can't. It's not going to be fun. Why would you want to do that?
Mhm.
But he's finally at a point where I was like, it would be okay.
Yeah.
And then he gets sick, and we've had this plan for like months too, and yeah, so I think we might try to like sell our tickets. I don't know. I've been so tired, I haven't even had time to like process what we're gonna do about the later part of the day.
Yeah. Well, you're
So-
dealing with a sick baby. Like, you don't have time to think about
Yeah,
other stuff.
and of course I woke up, there's no coffee this morning in the house, which is like, why is it always such a shock? Who is taking the last coffee all the time? I don't know. It's not me, because every time I'm blown away by this.
It's definitely the baby. The baby's
It's
like,
got to
"This
be the
is
baby.
mine?"
I think
No,
that's the
it's
only
Snape.
solution.
It's Snape. It has to be Snape.
I also met one of my neighbors this week. So we moved into a new house in January, and it's where we in March, April.
Dang.
I know, it's already been, we're almost rolling on 4 months here. We haven't mowed our lawn yet because we haven't needed to, but it's been getting bad like this last week or so. And we've kind of been on the fence. Do we buy a lawnmower? Do we just borrow one from my parents? We ended up deciding to borrow one. So we finally borrowed one, but the lawn was like a little out of control for sure. And Brian's out there changing the bag, and I went out there just to like see what's going on. I've got the baby in arm. And the guy from across the street walks over to me as Brian's changing the bag on the lawnmower, and he goes, "Oh, I just want to let you know, like, the HOA lady just drove by and she said that your lawn's in violation." And I do not know these people, by the way. I've never met these people.
That's such a passive aggressive, not even passive aggressive. That's just such
We're
an aggressive
literally
first
doing
meeting.
Right.
Like-
I was like, okay, well, it's getting taken care of. Yeah, so I'm not sure how to feel about them. After that, I turned it into more of like an introduction, hi, I'm your neighbor type of situation. But I'm
We
just
haven't
like,
even met.
right. Is this how we're going to start things off?
Yeah. Do they have a
gonna say-
dog you could steal it and dye it key lime green?
Yes.
Just a thought. I
Okay,
don't know
so
where I got that from.
speaking of lyrics, so Shoshana started this series on TikTok where like she's heard Taylor Swift lyrics as like one thing and then realized it was something else.
Hilarious.
The key lime green, literally, I just found out that they didn't say the dog died of key lime green.
No, it was dyed.
No, I know.
Different.
So
dyes.
now I know. And I've always been so confused. I'm like, why do people like this lyric so much? And first of all,
Who cares?
how is
It's
the
a
dog
dog.
die? Yes, that's not very nice. And how
Yeah.
is the dog dying of a color? Yeah, I was always very weirded out by that lyric, and I finally understood it like a week ago. So
Oh,
That's incredible.
I mean,
That
it's
was-
still not nice. I think that's still technically
Oh, it's
some kind of
definitely still-
abuse.
Oh,
So
still
like a
illegal.
crime. You can't
Yeah.
take someone's dog and dye it.
true. So Vanderpump.
Oh, good.
Ooh, it was
Good.
it was a good episode.
Finally,
It was.
I
Yeah,
feel like
there's a
this
lot
season's been
happening.
kind of like up and down with like.
Yeah.
It was finally very good.
Yes. I feel like the first like few episodes were just so boring. And then like the last like couple have been really good.
Yeah, and the first few just felt really staged, like when
And
Sheena
forced.
and Tom ran into each other at the restaurant.
Oh yeah.
And Sheena looked like a Bratz doll. Like, it was just such a weird interaction.
Uh-huh.
There was a lot of that. But yeah, this was good.
Yeah. Katie stealing Tori. It wasn't on my bingo card. I had no idea that this was coming. And
I feel kind
I
of
remember
divided.
hearing about it when they were recording or like filming still. But I just like had not a lot of context, and they didn't say that Schwartz also was trying to date this Tori girl. So I was like,
Yes.
this is so great. I love how
this
she's
for Katie, but I don't love this for Tori.
agreed.
She's like 23 and they're like in their 40s.
Yes, I know. Yeah. I had that
Like,
same thought.
And also, what does she see in Schwartz? I would like to know.
What
What
anyone?
is there to see in
Mhm.
Schwartz?
He gets off so easy. It is so annoying to me. And
Yeah.
I keep seeing it, like I'm on all the subreddits and stuff for Vanderpump, and I see so many people are like, I know I'm not supposed to like him, but I just can't help it. How?
Ew,
He is an
why?
asshole.
He's an idiot. He is
Yeah.
like the worst. To me, honestly, I think he's just as bad as Tom Sandoval because he just plays that like, oh, I'm an idiot thing. And it's
Mhm.
like,
He's almost worse because like he tries to be a good person. Even with like Tom, he's always like telling Tom to like be more humble, or
Mhm.
you're doing this for it's not like genuine.
yes.
Yeah.
I feel that.
How many episodes have I been saying now that Schwartz is going to hurt Joe? And I thought it was going to be a longer fizzle. I'm not going to lie. I thought this was going to go on for another season or two.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, here we are. And I knew he was going to play dumb. I knew it.
Yes.
Oh, I just didn't realize that you thought that. Like, dude, you told her you would settle down with her. And that's why she thought that, because you had said that to her.
I think
Yeah.
he told her that. I think he told her that they were together because I've been seeing TikToks of interviews from Joe. She recently went on Rachel's podcast to tell like her side of things. I haven't heard the whole thing, but I have listened to bits and pieces of it. And I think they were together and Schwartz was telling the group they were not together. And I think it's going to come to more of a head the more that we see. I think specifically at the reunion, because I think everyone is then going to realize that Schwartz lied to them.
And also I feel like even if he didn't explicitly say that we're together, he was doing the I love yous, and like
Exactly.
I've been in that situationship.
Yes.
He literally, they're gonna make you feel like you're together as long as you're together, but the second you're not, they
not
have no
together.
loyalty. They don't
Like this
owe you anything all of a sudden.
the swan petal thing. Who is doing that with someone they're not dating?
Oh, that's a good
Literally?
point. Like, that's a very cutesy thing.
It's super
do with
cute.
And I just, yeah, you do all the cute things, play house, the whole nine.
Yes.
And that's
I
what
know. I
really
thought
made me like Joe, or just like feel for Joe. I was like, damn, girl, you don't deserve that.
mm-hmm.
And also, like, Schwartz,
She
what are
is,
you
yeah.
doing? You're never gonna find somebody like. I just don't understand how he's blowing it with all these women. Like, you've been given so many opportunities. Katie is a goddess. Like, you already
Yeah.
fucked that up. Joe's awesome, and she really likes you for some odd reason, and obviously cares about you. So why are you screwing this up? Like, why
And
are you like,
how are
no, I
you
need 5 years or 10
not ready to
years?
settle down? Are you kidding me?
But then also in the next breath talking about how he's getting baby fever.
Yeah, he sends
Yeah.
so many mixed signals. It's insane.
Well,
It is.
right. And the mixed signals is like what makes it just toxic, and it makes him as bad as Tom Sandoval. And I'm not here to diagnose anyone because I'm not a professional, but that is narcissistic.
Yes. Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got another jacket comment from Katie, and
I love it.
I love these.
I
This
think
time
she's just the queen of one-liners this season. She's always saying something fucking funny.
She's
she
so
is.
good. I love Katie. Katie has my favorite development throughout the entire
Yes.
Vanderpump series.
I'm finally getting on the really loving Katie train. I've always liked her. I've never like really not liked her. It's just like she has these very like erratic moments, or she used to.
Because of Schwartz. Because he
Right.
gaslit her for
Right.
so long. So, like, she was crazy.
Yeah.
He drove her to that fucking point.
Exactly. His
I
toxicity made her a toxic person, but that's
I
not
think
because
she's still-
inherently toxic.
Right. And
I
she
think
did the right
has
thing and
toxic
removed herself.
tendencies. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
She has
Which
tendencies
is what
at times
Ariana
where
needs to do.
yeah, how are you guys still living in the same house? It sounds like the plot for a murder documentary.
I so agree, because the thing is, like, everything Tom still does to her, yes, it's horrible. Yes, no one thinks he's in the right for letting the dog in the room and leaving it there. No, but guess what wouldn't happen if you didn't live there anymore? If you keep putting yourself around someone who's that bad to you and clear, like, has showed you time and time again he doesn't care about your
And he
well-being.
can't be trusted.
Right. So why are you continuously putting yourself in that situation? And not to be victim blaming, because I understand she is going, like, she has that connected to the house. I get it. But she needs to remove herself.
I think
It's
this
just
is
going to
such
be
a
better.
common thing, though, in relationships, specifically a male-female dynamic. When there's a problem and they're going their separate ways, like, the man's not gonna leave that situation where, like, he's the most comfortable. Like, this is his house. He's not, like, we're seeing that with Jackson Brittany. Like, I saw an interview from Brittany's friend. I always forget his name. I think it's Zach. He's on the Valley show.
Yes, I know who you're talking
Is it
about.
Zach?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think
anyway,
so.
He did an interview and said that, like, he had just helped Brittany move into her own place, and whoever was interviewing him was like, well, why didn't Jax leave? And Zach was like, why would he? Like, he's an ass. Like,
True. Yeah. But it's like the kid, that's what makes me mad, is like the kid's room and stuff is there, and I guarantee that kid's going with Brittany.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
So she should be comfortable in that house that the kid is comfortable in, and yeah, that's what gets me with the whole.
And honestly, I don't think Brittany is the reason that they're separating. Jax is probably a huge part of that reason. And
we all know that.
She should be able to stay in the house. A kid probably really changed the way she looked at their relationship. Like, I think it really does. Being a parent really does make you look at stuff like that, because you have to see it through their eyes.
And on the Valley, have you guys watched the Valley?
No, only a few minutes of it.
I've seen it. I haven't like really sat down and watched them all in order, but it always comes on after Vanderpump. It just like puts it on, so I've seen them all. But yeah, this whole season, like, the theme with Jax and Brittany is that, like, Brittany is trying to get Jax to be like more loving and like romantic, and like she's saying they're only having sex like twice a year, which is so odd just for Jax, like, because we all know Jax, and yeah. So I don't know, something seems fishy there.
I don't. Well, if he's not sleeping with her, he's sleeping with somebody.
It's Jax, right?
Like,
so
there's no guesswork needed. Like, we know this guy. He's not unique. Anyway.
I feel for Brittany. I've always felt for Brittany, though.
I
I
love
feel
Brittany.
like I really wanted Jax to be also the better person, and he just like kept not.
I know.
I really
Rotten hell,
thought that
Jax.
when he
Rot
asked
in
her,
hell.
Rotten hell.
I really hoped when he asked her to marry him after she was really there for him when his dad passed away, even though like he had just done all that messed up stuff to her, and she was
and
still
he's,
there
you
for
know,
him.
that was supposed to supposedly changed him.
Exactly. And so
Lawyer.
it's just so, yeah, it's like, well, did you forget? Like, you just forgot you were supposed to be better?
I watched a little bit of that. Was it the Villains TV show where it had like all of the reality show villains on it? Like,
That sounds good.
Yeah, where's
it
that?
was interesting.
Is this Bravo? Like all the Bravo villains, or?
I think I want to say it
Her
was
Bravo
on. Well, because it
era.
had like a Survivor villain on there. It had
Okay.
a 90 Day Fiance. It had, you would know
Oh.
her if you watch 90 Day.
Yes.
'Cause
Which
I know
one?
her. Hold on. I'm going to get you the list because the people on this show
I'm
were
gonna
actually.
get you the list.
While you're
It was
looking for
called
that.
House of Villains.
Oh, okay. And are they all in a house together? Do they have to live
Mhm.
together? Yes.
Yeah, Anfisa.
I love her. I don't know. For some reason.
She's on the show. Jax is
I
on
love
there.
her.
I feel like I have seen clips of this on TikTok now that you're saying those people's names.
How is this new show?
It's well, I want to say it came out when I was pregnant, or they
Okay.
were advertising it when I was pregnant, but probably a little after December, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So, do we think Joe intentionally sabotaged Schwartz's hair, or is she really that bad? She can't be that bad at it, right?
I'm not even a hairstylist, and I know you don't start bleaching at the root.
Yeah.
Right. And it was orange. It wasn't. I mean, that was
I
like.
thought she said she was gonna make it blue. Like, didn't she say something about making it blue at one point?
I thought I heard something about like a crazy color as well.
Yeah.
And then I think I don't know what
They were like, let's just go with this. It looks horrible.
it is. So bad. Like it looks worse than when I did my own hair at home and like burned half my head away.
But I thought your hair actually looked great every time you did it.
Oh,
you
thank
did such a good job. Yeah.
I just fried it.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that
It was
bound to
COVID.
happen. I had to
Mhm.
cut all
It was
mine off.
COVID. I can't wait. Now that I got all these little buggies out.
I know. You were supposed to get your hair cut and you're like, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Life.
I know. Sho texted me. I think it was like the next day. She's like, "Did you get your hair cut? I'm about to cut all mine." I'm like, "No."
I'm like walking into my appointment. She's like, no. I'm like,
It's like when in high school when you told your friend you were going to wear a skirt with them and then you didn't.
you didn't wear the skirt, Tori. You didn't, wear the skirt.
She's like, I'm
You
sorry,
lied.
I got lice.
I know. I'm a jerk.
I forgot to
I
mention
forgive
this
you. It's
earlier,
cute.
But
If it was
is
bad,
so
I'd be upset.
when Katie and what's the girl's name? Tori.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that.
Okay.
When they were on their date and Tori made the comment about Bob Ross being alive when video cameras were a thing. That's just when I wanted to be like, she's too young for you, okay? She didn't know when Bob Ross was alive.
I missed this conversation.
Yeah.
She was painting with Katie.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
on
yeah.
their date, and they started talking. They mentioned Bob Ross. Like, of course, I picked up on like the dumbest detail, but it just really bothered me that this girl didn't know that Bob Ross was alive when there were video cameras. Like, how old did you think Bob Ross was? Like,
Wait,
come
and
on.
like that's how we know Bob Ross because he was on the camera.
Right. Like the
Right?
premise of Bob Ross is like the painting videos. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? She's too young for you, bro. Okay? She doesn't know when Bob Ross was doing videos. Like,
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Does not compute.
I
Yeah.
had to get that out. It really.
The age difference
Maybe
is
about
kind of alarming, and like regardless of what gender Tori is dating, that's
kind of
age difference.
Yeah, because they're both too old. Yeah.
They're both
too old.
too old for her, and it just kind of bugged me. I don't know. Like I was like, yeah, go Katie, like steal this girl. But also, maybe can you guys fight over someone like who's not 20? Like,
Right.
Because
Yeah, 23 is a bit over the line, I feel it. 25 and up, good to go, I feel like. But because your brain is fully developed, but 23 and younger, you're not there.
Exactly. I
With
feel like
people
that
that old.
prefrontal cortex needs to finish developing before you can date someone above 30.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. So also, I guess I think that's all for Vanderpump, right?
I pretty much just wrote about how much I hate how Schwartz treats Joe.
So much.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Literally him calling her Joseph as she's running away crying.
Dude, that's something men do that drives me crazy. Like, let the girl be upset. They just want to see you, like, pull it together. It was like when AD on Love is Blind was crying after getting turned down. And what was the guy's name? Clay, right?
Yeah.
And he's just, like,
pushing her. Yeah. It's like, let the girl be upset.
And don't call me Joseph. Don't call me a cutesy nickname.
That too, yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Like we're essentially breaking up. Like I'm trying to cut ties with you in that way. Don't call me something cute.
And he's trying to like hug her and stuff. You could see she kind of went in for a second. Then she was like, "What am I doing? No," and like pulled away and walked out. And I'm like, "Good on you, Joe."
That man ain't worth your energy.
No,
he's not. And the thing is, you don't realize that until you're with someone who literally moves mountains for you without you even having to ask. And you look back and you're like, why did I let someone that ugly, also, sorry, treat me like an option for so long?
Yeah. It's real icky. There was one part at the end where she basically admits her feelings and she speaks up for herself. And he like goes to say something. He's like, but, and she's like, but, shut the fuck up. And I just want to be like, yes, that should be your tagline, Bill. But, shut the fuck up. Okay?
She's like, that. but.
Yes. Like, incredible. Put that on a freaking t-shirt. Oh my gosh.
Sloppy Joe. I'm sorry. That should not be as funny as it is.
It is funny.
It was though, yeah. That was really funny.
Yeah, I think if my friend had made that joke about me, I would let them make merch about it.
Yes. So Kristen got kicked off of Vanderpump. So now on the Valley, she is in a way kind of offhandedly beating around the bush type of way, accusing a woman of being racist now on the Valley.
It's pretty wild. I feel like Kristen just constantly starts problems where there weren't any.
That's a really good way to describe Kristen.
Yeah, like, that kind of sums it up. Yeah.
Well, also it's like I feel like she tries to throw people off the scent of herself by shading others. Like she's always been an asshole in that way. Like
just pointing the finger everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Her and Jax, oh my God, they would be perfect together. They're such little shit starters.
I really thought they would end up together, honestly, after like all the stuff they pulled cheating on their significant others with each other. Like, just be together. You both suck. Nobody else is as bad as, like, no one else should have to put up with either of your shit. So you might as well have each other.
I will say that scene of like Stassi yelling at Kristen when she found out about the Jax thing, it lives rent free in my head. Like I could almost recite it.
Stassi has been and always will be, I think, one of my favorite people. And it's like a shame. And I understand why she got kicked off the show.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying she should be back on it, but she definitely had the best lines.
She was the most entertaining
to watch. Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's her birthday.
Yeah, the birthdays. I forgot about that. Oh man, the early VPR days were so good. It takes me back like the early Southern Charm days too.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly,
it was unhinged. Southern Charm. Talk about an age difference.
Oh my God, yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a reality TV show that is as chaotic as the first 2 seasons of Southern Charm. That show
yeah,
even Jersey
is
Shore?
So unhinged, including Jersey Shore, yeah. I don't know. Jersey
We have
Shore
the
might
one
be.
punch knockout, like episode 2,
Yeah.
season 1, Jersey Shore.
I love how
Iconic.
you have it down
Yeah.
to
She's like, I
down
know
to the
what's
date.
happening.
No, Jersey Shore may be as chaotic, but
There.
it's not as serious. Like Southern Charm, it's like these people are getting married and stuff. Like it's, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it feels heavier. More consequences, I guess, from the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been consuming, Shoshana? We got Vanderpump Villa on here. How was that?
Oh man. So I think one of the things I feel like I'm missing with Vanderpump Rules is that restaurant drama, which is
Yes.
how we all knew and fell in love with them. And
Yeah.
having worked in restaurants for like 12 to 15 years, I just relate to that drama so much. It's just so like at home and very entertaining. So I was like, Vanderpump Villa, perfect. We've got brand new restaurant drama.
Really?
I hate it.
Is
It's
it at
so
Sir?
bad. No.
It's like
Okay.
a rental property, right? Like,
Yeah, I think I don't know where. I want to say somewhere in Europe. It's like a villa, like she bought like a house, and so it's like a B&B style, like
it has
bed
a
and
staff.
breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah, so like 6 people come to stay at a time, and like there's a whole staff that waits on you. But it is
Oh.
like so fake, and in the way that
Ugh.
reality TV show is like already fake, if you
Yeah.
jump that up like 20 notches.
Oh no.
I feel like the reason Vanderpump Rules was so successful in the beginning is because they had just an explosive cast. Like they had, and yes, the storyline was good, and like how they brought it in from Housewives was really cool. So
Yeah.
you would think like this has the right recipe. You just have to find the right people to be working at this villa. So if they're like just looking for their moment, then
Yes.
all you're gonna get is a fake show.
It's giving like real world casting, if you know what I mean. Like when you're watching the casting tapes and you're like, oh.
I wish they didn't
Ick.
pick that person.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you did the research for us.
I went through 2 episodes. Aaron and I tried.
That's a good go.
That's a fair
like you
chance.
gave it a good go, yeah.
Yeah.
I've also seen a lot of really sad movies this week. Both I recommend. One I can only watch one time.
Okay.
One of those.
But
I've not heard of either of these.
I sobbed watching both of them. Peanut Butter Falcon, I want to say came out a few years ago. I know it won a lot of awards. It's Shia LaBeouf, and I don't know his co-star's name. I should have done a little more research.
I love
it.
him.
Is such a good movie. Bawled my eyes out. Be ready.
Oh no.
But 100% recommend it. And then The Iron Claw, which is the Jeremy Allen White and the Zac Efron of it all.
Yes.
But wow, what a tragic story.
Oh.
And then also the Eras Tour. How many times have you guys watched the Eras Tour Taylor's version?
Oh, Brian is sick of it.
Like once a
so
week
I've had
at
to cut it
least.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like whatever day I'm feeling the saddest, I'm like, just put Taylor on.
Yeah. The second I have like a glass of wine, it's somehow it's just on the TV. I can't help it. And then I'm swirling around in the living room, holding my glass up like a witchy ball.
Yeah, doing the choreography. Right? What else are you supposed to?
I need some rhinestone boots. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Like ASAP.
Yes.
I think I've got the whole beginning, like Lover intro down.
Nice.
Yes.
But tell me why I'm literally crying every time. Like by the time she gets to
Marjorie.
I'm Taylor and I was born in 1989, I'm like bawling.
It's Marjorie for me every time. And like I keep thinking it's gonna get easier.
Mm-mm.
And every time
to Marjorie.
Every time I want to cry more. Yeah, it's like Taylor, that's your grandma. She's singing up there on set. What a good tribute to your grandma.
When you hear her sing and like being in the stadium hearing that is just so.
I'm getting goosebumps right now.
I'm gonna start crying. I'm like crying half of it. But also like, I mean, it was like our show that was filmed. So I'm always like, whenever I hear the crowd, I'm like,
that's so cool. Yeah. I'm getting goosebumps again.
Yeah, when Death by 1,000 Cuts starts playing, I'm like,
I am so jealous of you for getting that song.
I blacked out, dude.
So bad.
In the video, because like I wanted to record, you know, at least the beginning of the, you know, surprise songs. And in the video I got, when she starts playing it, there's this whole like pause I have, because I swear I like blacked out when it happened. I just froze. I'm like,
That's
such a good song.
I couldn't believe she played it for us.
She played it for you.
For me?
Yes. 100%.
Screaming, crying, throwing up.
So I think we're on general. I only have one thing for general. And it's just that how come every time so that when you go to the pediatrician, they're like, oh, if your baby ever gets sick, like give us a call and we'll help you right out, you know? But it's like every time you actually do that, you feel like you're the biggest inconvenience to these people's day. And
you're so stupid. Just make an appointment. Why are you calling?
Right.
That's how.
Make your appointment for 6 months later. That's as soon as we got.
Yeah. They have to have been sick for a week before you can come in. So it's got to be 6 months plus a week.
Yeah, I call them and I'm like, my baby's like running a little bit of a fever. And she's like, well, did you actually take his temperature? Yes, I did. It's at 98.9. And she's like, well, that's not a fever. A fever's over 100. And I'm like, okay, well, he's also not eating and he's not sleeping. So what can I do for my baby? And she's like, oh, he's probably teething, and like just gave me a couple things at that point. But she was just trying to like get me off the phone by being like, oh, well, he doesn't have a fever. The baby is warm. He's almost at 99. That's not normal. Like, I know it's not a medical fever, but the baby is not feeling well. Okay.
Also, what happened to bedside manners? You're a first-time mom. It's literally your baby. Like,
yes. And I'm doing what y'all. I'm following the instructions. I am doing what y'all told me to.
Right.
Like, I don't want to make this call.
Down.
Right. I don't want to make this call.
Yeah, I don't want to do this. I'm literally just following the instructions that were laid out before me.
I can't even make appointments for myself and call the doctor.
Right.
I'm doing this for him.
Yeah.
Right.
God, throw me a fucking bone and just, you know what? Just Google what I'm saying and read back to me whatever Google tells you, and that'll make me feel better. How about that? You don't even have to have an original thought, okay?
Well, and they're so dismissive sometimes, especially when it's something common. So like with Sebastian, we would go every time we went to the doctor, it'd be like he had tummy stuff, and ultimately it was something he had to grow out of. But like, we just needed some reassurance. We just needed some sleep, like anything.
Yeah.
And all they would do is just be like, oh, it's, you know, he's a newborn baby. You're not going to sleep. I'm like, it's not that I don't understand that. I get that. He's uncomfortable. Like, help me help him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are the people I'm supposed to come to for this, right?
Right.
If there's anyone on the planet that you're literally supposed to go to, it's the doctors. And they're like the last people I want to go to.
Correct.
Oh, and God forbid you ever go to the ER. They care the least. And I understand you have to be a little bit separated from reality when you work in the emergency department, I'm sure. But when I went through something pretty traumatizing and I was in the ER, I mean, they were just not, they didn't care.
They don't care.
Like,
they don't care at all.
No. I was like, oh, man.
Down with the medical system.
Yeah. Well, it's all
burn it all. Yeah. Boo insurance too.
Good. Right. Taking down the insurance companies.
We'll start there, and then I think the medical will
we'll just
be
dismantle
better because
the
of
entire.
So I meant to at the beginning, like, mention how long we've been friends and stuff. I kind of just blew right past that part
because you threw out my government name. I think almost for a little
kind of threw us all off. I think
it was pretty violent. Like
it felt weird.
I was surprised you didn't throw the Patricia in there.
It felt weird as I was saying it, but I was like, do I say her whole name? Because I also wanted to like go into like your podcast as
which
well,
I
which I
will
got
be.
distracted from.
Yeah, my name.
So I
will
was
be
like,
associated.
yeah, I was like, do I say the whole name for it? Anyways, so we've been friends for a long time.
Yes,
How
we've
many
known each
years?
other even longer
True.
because we've known of each other since our horse girl days.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I forgot. Yeah. So
This will be an
Keelan.
interesting segment for Tori because you will find that she's hearing some of this for the first time, even though she lives.
Tori's discovering how close of a friend we really are.
no. So this
I
I
do feel
actually
like I
do
get to do
remember.
this.
I just forgot.
I do feel like I get to do this with her every few years. It's kind of really fun.
Yes, that feels right.
So like memory just isn't a strong suit of mine. You know, we all have our things.
Mm-hmm.
I like to move things. I like to move things around.
Yeah,
That's
rearrange.
my thing.
Mhm.
That's one of my things.
Memory is not one of my things, but I'm sure I do have things. I just can't recall them.
You have great things. Effortlessly funny.
So we met riding horses. So I had to be like, I don't know, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, somewhere around there.
I was in, I guess, 7th grade when I started at Keelan.
Oh, so maybe I was a little older. Okay. It's like
Yeah,
11.
because I think you weren't in my brother's writing class though, because you had been writing longer.
I was in his class. Oh, I think it was because I fell off and I like couldn't jump anymore because this was the first time I ever had a panic attack. I didn't know it was a panic attack. But every time I would try to jump a horse, I would start hyperventilating. And so she put me back in the walk track canter classes. And I think that's when I was in the class with him. And he wanted my horse. I remember that. You we both liked the same horse, Shoshana's brother and I. And I can't remember if I said something to Sho first or if Sho said something to me first, but I do specifically remember Shoshana saying, well, my brother likes that horse. That horse is more his horse or something like that.
That is amazing.
And I was so quick to stand up for him for nothing. For what?
I may have said something first too, like, that's my horse. I don't know.
You've been riding there longer though. And then he got stuck riding the little donkey that they had there.
Not a donkey.
He was like a donkey. There was like a really tiny
Freckles.
Pony. Sorry, pony. He was a literal pony.
He was a pony, yeah. Freckles.
And my brother was
like a 30-year-old pony.
Guy. He was always a little guy for his age. So they put him, the one boy in the class, on the smallest horse. Oh. So I think I was a little
Freckles.
defensive of him. We all love Freckles. R.I.P. Yeah. What a good pony.
So horse days. We met each other when we were like 11 or 12. So how many years does that put us at? What, 20
plus? Yeah.
And then that's
whoa.
That's crazy. What is the word I just said? And then we re-met each other in high school. So not only were we both horse girls, but then we were both in marching band.
Right. We're just obviously so cool. I mean,
clearly.
Yeah. You're in good company. My best friend was the drum major.
That's cool.
Now she's cool.
Yeah. That's freaking cool.
Yeah. So like really I
Tori, were you cool. What were you your senior year? Weren't you like the
I was No, I was drunk and stoned my senior year.
Valid.
I dropped out of band.
An official title.
Wasn't Dustin like the assistant drum major? Someone was.
Oh, yeah. Dustin was the backfield drum major, I think my junior year. So our junior year, yeah. And then I quit my senior year because we got the new band director.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like dealing with that transition. And I also started drinking and smoking weed, and that felt more important in the moment.
100% why I left my sophomore year. New band director, started drinking and smoking.
And I was mad at you.
You were so disappointed. You and Dustin both, who are now like my two of my closest friends, oldest friends, but so disappointed. And it actually, we didn't talk for a little bit.
And when you say a little bit, like years, right?
Years, yeah. Well, because I had graduated. I mean, I was a year ahead of you.
Yeah.
So then we like weren't hanging out with the same crowd anymore in high school.
Mhm.
And then I graduated.
Mhm.
And then we refound each other because we were both now drinking and smoking with the same
Right.
people.
Right.
Yeah.
And Shoshana said, no, she didn't. It's just funny how like I was so against it. Because it was you. I remember being so mad at another mutual friend of ours too. And here we are.
The turntables.
Exactly. Yeah. So when we did start hanging out together, we kind of jumped right into like hanging out all the time.
All the
camping.
time. So close.
Going to the rainbow gathering, which is intense. That's an intense friendship moment. I feel
Literally.
Like. Yeah. Oh, it is
Intense.
literal. And it.
I'm a mother.
That's great.
I got the mom jokes. But yeah, I mean, we were doing everything. We were traveling, going to the drum circle. Drum circle.
We were little hippies. The blueberry patch.
That's why I fell in love with both of you. I just thought you guys were like the coolest hippie girls. Like
we were.
I was like, I have to find them on Facebook and like friend them and we're gonna be like, I manifested you guys as my friends.
And here we are. This is like 11 years later now.
Yeah, that's wild.
It is crazy. Was this our first rainbow gathering? The Dexter bag situation?
I want to say, because it was my second rainbow, but I do think your first rainbow.
Okay.
She'll take your word for it.
I will. Yeah, 100%. So just for the listeners, I do remember bits of this story, but Shoshana seems to have a clearer picture, it's just so good that she's here today to help tell this story.
Round it out.
We can paint the scene. We are in the middle of the Ocala National Forest. There are palm frond. What are those palm bushes called?
Palm fronds, yeah, or palmetto.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Palmetto everywhere. I mean,
Serenoa repens.
A Florida national park. It's just kind of skinny trees, lots of palm fronds. Anyways, painting a picture. We had already gotten so lost on this trip, you, me, and Sweat. This was the same weekend. We got so lost for like 2.5 hours trying to get to campsite the first day we got there. Because the rainbow gathering,
walking in, right?
Yeah. So the rainbow gathering, for people who don't know, is kind of like this gathering that travels through the country, and in the winter it makes its way to Florida. And it's a bunch of hippies that kind of just live off the grid in the woods, and it's this like little community. They have kitchens, they have like all this food, anything you need they have, and it's all free trade, and it's kind of like a beautiful little concept, a beautiful little society you can escape to.
Moving commune, like
yes, yeah, and like no money is exchanged, everything is traded and bartered.
Right.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does become a little judgy. They don't love what they call weekend warriors, which we were, because we had jobs, and we would just kind of go on vacation and live with the hippies. They do it full time, so they have their little lifestyle. But it's fun to like incorporate yourself, and the majority of people are very nice. Mm-hmm. So the girls, went out there. And as we're walking into the forest, the main camp is usually about 2.5 miles into the forest, because they try and be as far away, like far enough in that the cops aren't going to want to come and bother you or bust you or anything. Yeah. So they're just like pretty far in. So we're like, we know we have a little bit of a hike, everything, but it should take like 30 minutes, maybe an hour to walk that. Not bad. So we get about an hour and a half into walking. We haven't seen a single person. And at this point, we should start seeing people, because there's like 800 to 1,000 people in the middle of this forest, and right. You would hear them, right? So we should be seeing people at this point, in my experience, but we see no one. And then all of a sudden, we start hearing what sounds like airplanes, and then what sounds like bombs dropping. You hear the and like a sound of an explosion. Now there's not like rumbling happening. We don't really see smoke, I don't think. So we're just like super confused, but eventually just continue walking into this absolutely decimated portion of the forest. Later, we come to find out the Air Force was like practicing test bombs because the Rainbow Gathering is like technically on the American terrorist list. I mean, these people live off the grid. The government doesn't love them. So I think they try to like annoy the gathering as much as they can. So they're doing routine testing, like pilot flying stuff, but they're dropping these bombs over. So it sounds scary, right? Anyways, like
That
2.5 hours.
terrifying. I would shit my pants.
It was,
And we're just roaming. And we're just roaming.
We don't know any of this. We just hear the bombs and then see like a burnt forest.
Yeah, I think they had done like now looking back, like with the work that I do, they had just done a controlled burn, I think. But I do remember it looked like decimated. Yeah. And it was like, did we just enter like a war zone? What is happening?
Yeah.
Right. And still have not seen anybody.
Yes.
And we don't have water anymore at this point. We didn't plan for this to be a journey yet. Like we left all of our camping stuff in the car because we just were going to find camp, go back and get our stuff, bring it to the camp. That was the goal. So we, long story short, we end up finding a random hippie wandering around. And he was kind enough to point us in the direction and take us to like what they call main circle, which is like the main camp. So we eventually find our friends and then go back to the car just to get lost for another hour or two.
Because we had to get our stuff now.
So we had to get our
and
stuff.
Hike
and now,
in with our stuff.
Yeah, now we're hauling everything. Once again, lost. So this weekend, already off to a great start. We end up finding everyone. It's, it's fine. A few days go by and our friends come to meet us. So they all get there and they parked. What we had learned was the far parking lot because there actually ended up being a closer parking lot to our camp. And we would have never gotten lost in the first place if we had just parked there. But we're pros at this point.
Signage is obviously not the hippie's strong suit, I'm assuming.
No signs. No signs. Yeah. You have to go by word of mouth and cacaws.
And like they would constantly like move where you should be parking at too because the police would set up like they set up checkpoints for everyone coming into the forest because they know a lot of these people are like running from the law or have warrants out for their arrest and stuff. So like
right. Or
they
simply have
are just
acid,
checking
mushrooms, weed.
Yeah. So they're just trying to find any reason to like pretty much profit and off of the people who are camping there. I think also because they're annoyed by it. And Ocala is like known like even when the gathering's not there to have like a lot of like meth labs and stuff out there. So I think the cops in that area are just like on a high alert. Vigilant. So the parking places are always changing because there'll be, people will kind of hear through the rumors in the woods that the cops are like set up at this one. So then you tell your friend to go to the other one.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had learned that there was a closer parking lot. And so they get there and they have all their camping stuff. And I was like, Tori and I are like, hey, you guys set up your camp. It's about to be dark.
That's right.
We're going to go and take your car and we'll move it for you.
Oh my God. That's right.
It's all coming back.
It's coming back. Yeah.
So they're like, wow, that's so nice. And we're like, we know. And so we take our dogs.
We've been through it. We're saints. Like,
like we're just here to help. It's my birthday, but I don't care. I'm here to help. So, I mean, I got my little wine. We got like probably some joints. We got our dogs. We're like, we're going to go do this. So we start our journey. We get to their car. We get in the car. Everything's great. And we start driving. And sure enough, there was one of these checkpoints that Tori was talking about. And we're like, this is routine. I'm not even worried about it. The only thing I was kind of worried about is I didn't have my ID on me. Because
I don't remember
camping.
That part.
Yeah. Well, it actually ended up, this was part of the loophole. This ended up being helpful. So I didn't have my ID on me and that was the only thing. But we were camping. So I was like, maybe they'll be nice and understand. I know they can look me up, right? So like, I'm like, maybe they'll be cool.
And we're probably, I'm assuming, slightly inebriated by this point too.
We had a little wine.
Okay.
Right.
She remembers that part. That's funny.
I do. It was my freaking birthday.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to move this damn car out of the kindness of my heart.
Yeah.
And you're gonna no.
Yeah, no. Absolutely. So we get there, and I mean, there's no way to turn around or anything. Like, we have to do this, right? So
they will know. Yeah.
Like, cars ahead of us, cars behind us. They're going through the checkpoint. So I roll down my window. Officer says, can I see your driver's license and, car registration, all the whole thing. And I look at him,
God, that's right.
I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm moving my car for my friend. I left my ID at the campsite. I was like, I really apologize. I don't have my ID on me. He's like, honestly, that's fine. If you have your friend's registration, just pull that out and we can look you up. I'm like, thank you so much for being so cool.
This is all coming back to me. Like, I'm just like,
it's like
as you're saying this, I'm like just realizing like what the next thing you're gonna say is gonna be. Okay, this is so exciting. Okay,
this is so exciting.
Yeah, Tori's in the passenger seat. I'm driving. Dogs are in the back seat. 2 dogs, right? Tori's dog Dexter, my dog Bruce. So,
who are siblings, right?
Who are siblings and pit bulls, big guys. Love them.
So cuties.
Cuties. So at this point, I'm still so calm, cool, collected. Like, I have nothing to worry. I literally have nothing to worry about.
It's my birthday. And I'm doing a good thing. Like, I have karma on my side.
Yeah. Also, like, from a cop's perspective, you know, like, just imagine, like, we pull in and we're like, well, we don't really have an ID. And, like, this car isn't, someone just, like, kind of, we're moving our car for a friend. Like, whose car is this? No, it's not our,
It does seem sus. But we're pretty girls. We're cute little hippies. We're getting away with it so far. I mean, we're doing okay. Right?
Yeah.
So I go, and if you were to pull out a registration, where would you assume it is in someone's car that's not yours?
The glove box.
Yeah, absolutely.
You would. You would.
I'm so calm. I am so calm, Amber. So there are literally 4 cops surrounding us. I am so calm. Open the glove box. I shit you not, like an ounce of weed just right there.
Like rolls.
And back then, that wasn't okay.
No,
and in a national forest. So not okay.
In a very rural area. So they were kind of behind the times of the progressiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and as soon as it is visible, my instinct, of course, is to grab it. I like lunge toward it. Like, what was I going to do? Throw it? Like,
hit them with it?
And then I was like, don't touch it. So I like snapped my hands back. So at this point, they're like, we need to step out of the vehicle. Tori and I are both like, yeah.
That's fair.
Sure. So then now we're on the side of the road. They're questioning me. Now, the thing is, and this kind of goes along with what Tori was saying, they're not really looking for us, like, mind you. We're not the reason that they are there. So they're talking to me, and they're like, I'm literally crying. I'm like, it's my birthday.
And they've separated us. They've separated us at this point.
Tori has the dogs, and they have her over there, and I have 2 cops, like, interviewing me. Oh. And so they're like, we need to know whose weed this is. We need to know whose car this is. Oh, also, we didn't find the registration because guess where it wasn't?
In the glove box.
There was weed in there, but
yeah. No. So I still could not prove that this wasn't my car, that wasn't my weed. Like,
or whose car it was.
Right. Yeah, no proof that I didn't just steal this car.
Nothing. Literally nothing. So thankfully, I had taken my purse off at this time, but that does mean that my bag I was carrying is in the car. Now, also, Tori's bag that she was carrying is also in the car. So they're pulling everything out. They find all this stuff in the trunk. They find more weed. They pull out my bag. They find my pipe in there. They're like, oh, we got a big one, boys. This is it. They're finding all this shit. They pull out Tori's bag.
Never smoked weed before.
I've never touched the stuff. I told them, they're like, what do you want to do with your life? I was like, I want to be a teacher. And they're like, do you think you could be a teacher, like acting like this? I was like, no. I'm like, it's so traumatizing. And they're trying to bribe me. They're like, nothing will happen to you. You know, I'm watching them. They're finding more and more things. They're getting so excited.
Like
they're finding all this drug paraphernalia.
And then they get to my bag.
Right. And as they pull out Tori's bag, and they're like, threatening me with everything that could happen because this is all mine at this point. I have no way to prove it's not.
And
they pull out Tori's bag that says Dexter on it.
like literally Dexter, my dog's name is sewn into it's embroidered into this
embroidered large. It's the Dexter bag.
That's
And as
hilarious.
I see them pull it out, and Dexter is literally freaking out right now on the sidelines. Dexter is just like meh, 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 barking. He starts going crazy. And I'm like, Tori's about to like say something to her dog because he's freaking out right now. And that dog's name is on this bag. And they literally pull a scale. They pull more weed. They pull all this stuff out of that bag.
Probably like little bags, like who
those tiny little ones.
I would think.
And it's like Tori and I mind melded at this point because in my head I was like, she can't say that dog's name. She cannot say that dog's name right now. And as I'm thinking that, she goes, Jimmy Dog, shut up. And from that point on, called Dexter Jimmy. And poor Dexter is like,
is the funniest thing I have ever heard. Quick fucking thinking. Women are amazing.
That was the moment where I was like,
and like Sho looked at me and I knew she knew, and I was so relieved to like see that look in your eyes, like we're on the same page. Like we cannot mess this up.
No,
because that was a lot. My bag was bad. It was like I could have gotten like distribution probably.
And so much. I mean, we could have been just taken to jail at that point, and like our friends wouldn't have known. We were literally, no one knew.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I think TJ saw us. I think he and Jessica pulled up at the same time, saw us on the sidelines with the cops. And I think they did go and tell our partners at the time at the campsite what was happening. So I do remember they made it and they thought we were gone because everything was gone.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But long story short, they
this on Dexter.
Well, we found the registration, which like quantified everything I said. I was like, my story is true. I was like, this is the name of the person who owns the car. This is like all the information. So once we found the registration, Tori and I became less and less like complicit. We were, and like my bag that had a pipe in it, like I said, I did not have my ID on me. That wasn't my bag.
Whose bag is that? Yeah. And that's what we were like, I don't know who Dexter is. It's not even our car. Like, why would we know?
I don't know who Dexter is.
Yeah, it's not even my car. We're just moving the car for a buddy. Like, if it was my car, would I have opened the glove box with the ounce of weed in it?
Do you think if I knew that was in there, I would have opened it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't I show you where the registration was? In the trunk?
Right, when the registration wasn't even in there.
Oh.
So anyways, a long story short, we ended up being allowed to, I think they let us drive the car, but they took everything. They let us drive the car back. I got a fat ticket for $420. They think they're really
Which
funny.
Is a joke. Yeah.
They think they're just so funny.
Like, yeah. That's frustrating. Not a joke as in it's a small amount, but I feel like they were snickering to each other when they wrote that number down.
Make this $420.
Yeah.
Donors.
Yeah. And I still remember, and I think this is kind of one of my coolest things I've ever said to a cop, was I remember them being like, oh, so we'll let you off like free if you just take us in there and show us like who's selling all the drugs and take us to all those people.
I remember that.
And I literally was like, I don't know anybody, and if I did, I wouldn't take you.
Damn.
And
that's my
like,
girl.
What are you gonna,
that's my girl.
What are you gonna do?
Like, you can't do anything to me.
Yeah.
Now.
And I remember us saying like, we don't even know this guy that well. We just moved his car for weren't we like convincing them that like we don't know where they're camped at and stuff?
Honestly, he convinced me to move his car. I didn't even want to.
Someone just threw their keys at me. Like, I'm just going to go put these keys back on the ground when I get back in there. Go pick them up, whoever.
And it was convenient.
They were like, you girls deserve better friends. You girls are hanging out with the wrong crowd. They thought we were so nice by the end of it. Like, so innocent, so sweet.
I was the wrong crowd.
Yeah, we were the wrong crowd. It is that,
that's my
privilege.
Bag.
That was my bag. What an adventure that was.
Yeah, how did that feel listening to that back?
It was honestly, it was a really exciting ride. I've been telling this story not as well.
All wrong.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
now I have
such
all
a
the
good
bits and
story.
pieces. And
You
I
can
have
just
it
Yeah.
drop a
recorded.
podcast link. Yeah, you don't even have
Right.
to tell the story.
Yeah, we have it
Yeah.
recorded for the history books now. So
And our friend was very nice. He did end up paying the entirety of my ticket
nice.
because
Oh, the
once
person whose
again,
car it was.
it was not my
And-
car. And why would you not tell me?
we were mad about that. Yeah, we were
Yeah.
kind of like, come on, dude. Like, you got to tell someone if they're going to.
I'm riding so dirty right now. Are you kidding? And you
Right,
didn't
and
tell me?
And we're walking like,
Florida?
and we're walking like, we were like 7 miles in from where we parked
Yeah.
at too. So it was like
Yeah.
a big walk we're doing, and yeah, he should have told us.
That's
Anyways,
nuts.
yeah.
So
I just
another
did a little
Woods.
community service. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
It was okay.
yeah. There was the mushroom barbed wire night.
A classic. And to be clear, we were not actually on mushrooms.
No, we wanted to acquire them, and we did fail.
Yes, and we were looking in cow fields, as one does,
Right.
On private property, in Florida, rural Florida.
Scariest part, I think.
Rural Florida, yeah, not a great place to be on private property, especially when you just kind of like pop out at someone's home, and then they just kind of pop out of the door.
Yeah, lights on, everything. So I think at this point, going into this journey, we did chug probably at least one Four Loko, I believe a Twisted Tea, like several canned malt beverages had drank. And I would also like everyone to remember that at this time, this is not only the original Four Loko recipe, but also we do not have GPS readily available on our phones.
Correct.
That was not a thing. That was not a thing. And in fact,
this is what, like 2010?
Yeah.
Probably about, yeah.
And in fact, I do remember famous last words. I believed it was Tori's idea to just leave our phones in the car because we didn't need them.
Wait, no. We had them. Remember, because I called.
I think I had mine because I wasn't going to leave mine in the car.
Smart. You were like, I am going to need it.
Smart. That's my girl. That's my girl. Yeah. But God, one of us is thinking.
It could have been Chris's idea to leave the phones in. Someone was like, leave the phones in the car.
We'll say it was Chris.
We didn't want to be loud. Like, we didn't want anyone to catch us.
Because you're going on private property to look for mushrooms, so you got to.
Right. So, like, we're sneaking around, and we're looking, and we were out there for, like, 45 minutes. Oh, and another famous last words. I told Tori, I was like, I'll go with you, but I do have to work at 8 a.m. And she's like, it won't be long. This is going to be so fast.
It's fine. We're going to find them. We're just going to flip over some shit, find the mushrooms, and we'll be out of there.
I was like, this is going to be so fun. And I'm ready. Let's go. Sounds great. So we're out there 45 minutes. We don't find anything. And so Tori even is like, yeah, you have to be up early. Like, let's just turn this whole thing around. So
I like how I'm bringing that up at this point. In this story. Yeah, so this isn't really like prime mushroom hunting hours.
Yeah, it's not working out, so it's fine. So we turn around and we start walking back for a couple hours. We walk through the same gate, it feels like. We're just constantly walking back to the car, and we don't find the car, right? We're just walking through cow fields after cow field after cow field, gate after gate. And then we start walking towards we always think we're there too. We're like, this is the gate I remember this one.
It's
this
like you're just telling yourself you need like that reassurance, like this is definitely the one.
Yeah,
this is it. Yeah,
and it wasn't.
It's probably like midnight 30 at this point. I mean, we've been out there for quite some time. And we do start heading towards this area that, once again, I'm convinced. I'm like, this is it. We're fine. We're back at the car. This is it. And then the lights come on. We see the trailer. We see the door open. I don't wait to see anything else. I'm gone. The guy that was with us, gone. All I remember is I turn around and I see Tori also just running full speed straight into a barbed wire fence. And the way her and the barbed wire fence collided, it was like her running and just fell backwards. And so we had to go back and we like pick her up. We're like, we don't have time, dude. We gotta go.
And I lost a rainbow. There was like a mud pit right there.
Yeah.
And the rainbow flip-flops, which I loved my rainbows. And
And we-
one of my feet just went.
Flip-flops to the woods. Such a Florida
you
girl.
wore the rainbow flip-flops everywhere.
I did. They were really
well
multi-purpose.
It was a lifestyle.
And
It was a
my
lifestyle.
foot goes knee deep into this mud pit, and my flip-flop
Literally.
does not come out with my foot. And I'm sitting, I think this is the point when I'm trying to get my flip-flop too, right?
Yeah.
And then
You did
I had
try.
to decide that the flip-flop needed to be left.
It had to go. It had to be left behind.
I just I can't believe you collided.
I was cut up the next day.
I was gonna say, how badly were you?
I
injured?
was. I think people were telling
Poor.
me to get like tetanus shots and stuff. I don't
sure
think I did.
was. You did not.
Yeah.
I waited 3
Oh.
days to make sure your jaw did not lock. I called you every day.
And I don't think that's the end of the story yet.
No, because no. So eventually we just get to, because we're so lost. And once again, we do not have we have no idea where we are. No GPS, no idea.
Yeah, those
And-
printed MapQuest directions aren't going to do anything for you.
Not helpful.
That's all we had back then.
It was not. And so it's probably like 2:30 in the morning. And we're just out there. And we didn't have service for the longest time. And then we finally get service. And so we're like, okay, we're calling Tori's boyfriend at the time.
Like
2:30
not
in
my
the morning.
boyfriend. It wasn't even my boyfriend yet. Like we had just
Your
started
friend.
talking.
Yeah.
Like this is Stanley. Stanley's
Okay.
been highlighted on the podcast before. But yeah, I
Stanley.
was so nervous about calling him. I was like, he's the only person I can think to call.
And he was living with me at the time. He was my roommate. So
Oh, right, yeah.
I was like, no, this is what we need to do. So
But we couldn't tell him where we were at.
no, so we basically had him on the phone for emotional support for a little bit. And he's kind of trying to MapQuest and Google Map an idea of from where we started to where we could be
Yeah.
potentially. And
Like,
so
question
we're at
mark,
a point.
maybe?
We're at a point where I'm looking at the sky for the North Star. I am just trying to get us somewhere based off of constellations. So my bright idea is I was like, we're going to walk until we see streetlights. Because once we see streetlights, we'll have a street.
Yeah.
And that's something you can look up. So we
Yes.
walk until we see streetlights. And we basically end up off of Morris Bridge somewhere. And I'll never forget. I hope this business is still there. It's like got tiki huts and decorations all around it.
Yes.
I'll never forget
Mhm.
all the grass skirts and the little tiki dudes. But that's where we popped out, and Stanley came
How
and picked us
far
up.
were you from? How far had you gotten from your where your car was?
We had walked miles. I think we were probably only like 3 or 4 miles from where the car was, but we had walked like for hours. I mean,
Mhm.
so long.
That
Did
is
you make
nuts.
it to your shift the next day?
Yeah.
You did. Oh,
I was I was built different back then, though.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to
Feel that.
work on all levels of tired and inebriated.
So
Yeah.
it's funny, as we're going through these stories, I'm realizing that I have like less and less like memory of them myself. So the cryptid one, I almost don't remember at all. It's like I kind of remember it.
That is fair, though. It was your going away party. So we
Okay.
had been partaking and celebrating and all that. So it was like, I think this was before we went to Peabody's to meet up with everyone, but like we had already been hanging out. And we went to our favorite wood spot, which was super overgrown at the time. So we kind of got lost again because it was hard to find.
That's just your MO.
As we do.
As we
Yeah.
do. It's what Corey and I do, and I don't know that we know anything different.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's I actually almost got lost at work the other day, if I'm being honest.
You work in
So
the
we
I'm
made a
woods. This is
career out
scary.
of this.
Yes, I lost my intern. My intern found the truck and she got back, but she was standing on top of the truck screaming for me for a few minutes. Like
Tori.
20.
Dang.
Like 20.
We gotta put an air tag on you or something.
Well, since
I
then I
think
bought an
so.
Apple Watch that has
Yeah.
the phone call ability because my phone had died, which is why I got lost because I
Oh, the Apple Watch is
didn't.
such a lifesaver.
So now
Amazing.
I could have called her, you know, and we could have figured it out, but
Yeah.
I could have used my compass on it as well. Anyways, so I'm
Oh,
still
well,
doing that.
yeah. Not much changes, and I think that's beautiful.
Some things never change.
Yeah, so we were lost and the grass was really tall, and I think we kind of decided to call it in and head to Peabody's for the rest of the night. And I'll never forget, as we look off into the distance, we see a set of red eyes. And then we slowly realize that those red eyes are about 6 feet tall in the air. They're like tall up there.
I'm like
So it
getting
wasn't
goosebumps.
like,
I do not like that.
Fuck.
yeah, because like alligators, if you shine a light on their eyes, they're red, right? And I
Yeah.
think
So,
deer
but if
are
you saw
blue.
that like low to the ground, then you'd be
Yeah,
like,
low to the ground, I'd be like, that's a gator. And that's to be expected. 6 feet tall. I was like, well, it's not a deer. What is it? So we also ran.
And this was like on that rickety boardwalk too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, didn't we
there
have
was
to
nothing-
climb back up onto the, like, scramble onto the boardwalk or something?
Uh-huh. Yeah, this boardwalk was missing so many planks in areas that you had to like balance beam your way through parts of it and jump through parts of it. And
that's terrifying.
Man, we were wild.
Never know what
we
you're
were
gonna
built
find in the
different.
woods.
How did I? This is maybe why I have so much anxiety at this point in my life. Like, I just had none then. So it's like I'm just kind of carrying it all now.
Catching up.
Yeah, you were really brave then. I feel like that takes me
Who
to the
was
sea
she?
slug moment because like that was brave of you to be so close to the edge.
I thought I had that. Why
Now,
was it so slippery?
As a the water, honey. It was it was out in the ocean.
It looked so the material of the sea slug. What do we call this thing? I don't know what it is.
Ask you. I don't know its purpose.
I don't either. It's something to do with probably like beach erosion or something. But there's these giant like sandbags at this beach that we would go to.
And
we called them
giant,
sea
like,
slugs.
10 feet tall, 6 feet wide, like, and then like 50 feet out into the water.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
giant.
So you could get like up on top of the what we called sea slugs, but they're just like sandbags. And it looked like it had like a sandbag like material that you're walking on. So
yeah,
to me,
which is
that's
rubbery.
not a slippery thing. Usually,
Oh,
I didn't perceive it to be. At
I think
least.
we have different memories of the texture of this. I am picturing
Apparently.
a rubber suit. You might.
Oh
be
my
correct,
gosh,
though.
Amber and I, we're gonna have to go take a trip there and check it out.
Yeah.
I
want to see the sea
The
slug.
boots on the ground. We need to know.
Yes, we need to do some research. Yeah, how did I end up there? I think you guys were swimming and I just didn't want to.
Yeah, we were swimming and you were kind of hanging out up there, and then that seemed like a cool place to hang out. And I think because you didn't have your bathing suit, from what I remember, you were clothed.
Great.
And I think you had no, you were with, I don't know. People were meeting us though, because I think 2 other people came to meet us and they were not in beach attire either. So it was kind of sunset. We're all just kind of vibing as you do at the beach. And yeah, I was like, oh, you're not swimming, Tori. So here are my cigarettes, my cell phone, my wallet, my lighter. So many things.
All the things I don't want to get wet, pretty much.
You are the perfect person to leave this with because you are so dry.
I feel like that's not how the story ends.
It ended so quickly. I mean, so we're all hanging out on the sea slug, and Tori was just, it is pretty when you get to the edge, right? So you're kind of just like on the edge of the world. I mean, just
living
taking
life
it all
on the
in.
edge.
Right, taking it all in. And from about 10 feet away, I see Tori walk one step too far off the slug. And the scramble, I mean, it was like such a slow fall. I've never seen anything slower happen. I mean, it was literally just grasping, clawing, like little arms. I don't think the
I
audience is
was
aware of how tiny you are. Just
Yeah,
like
she's
his
very
tiniest little arms, just grasping and clawing for life.
I was really
Ultimately,
trying not to fall.
yeah, there was nothing. I mean, I couldn't even do anything because then I would just fall in with her.
Right.
It happened
So,
too
needless to
fast and
say,
too slow.
everyone's stuff got wet, which is fine. It was
Mhm.
fine.
Was your cell phone okay? I
I
feel
don't
like I don't.
recall it not being okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I feel like this was a different era of cell phones.
It was. They were sturdier back then. I think it was like a
Yeah.
flip phone. It was that little singular
Mhm.
one. I remember
Yep.
having it in my bra as I was, and I think that's why I was trying so hard to not fall in, because I'm like, I have the phone. It didn't work.
Yeah. No, but that's okay. It
I'm
happens.
actually just this whole time have been picturing you falling off an actual giant sea slug, like a real slug.
I mean, they kind of look like that. So if you're picturing it, it's probably pretty accurate to what it looks like.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
amazing. It's a
Mhm.
cool visual.
So we have Gary crashing car on here.
It's still so funny. It's a
Gary
small world.
is a code name for one of my high school boyfriends. So I was a freshman in high school and he was a senior in high school. And I was just annoying and thought it was so cool that he had a car. And I like was flirting with this guy who had a car. And him and I weren't dating yet, but I had made a screen name called, I had 1,000 AIM screen names. I would just be in a mood and make a new one about the mood I was in that day. But I had one called Blue Car Haha, and I would like talk to him on it. And he was the only person I knew with a blue car. I mean, I really only had like 2 friends that even had cars. So it wasn't very subtle.
But I think technically one of them wasn't the Jeep blue too.
Good point. Yeah. I don't think I was friends with him though. I don't know. Our friendship was always off and
No one,
on.
no one should be
Yeah.
friends with him.
Agreed. Yes.
And I hope you hear this.
I hope you're
We're
out
gonna
there.
say your real name,
We've got beef.
your government name.
It's lasted.
But then yeah, that reminded me that you were so I had to change that screen name shortly after because he totaled that car. And then
Right.
you reminded me that you were actually in the car.
I
when
was
that
in the car
happened.
with him. And actually, unfortunately, a huge part of the reason he totaled it because we're teenagers and we're so stupid. And I literally am so nervous for the day that my children start driving. I mean, Amber, I am
Not
feeling
very
your
far
pain.
away.
You're so close.
Yeah.
Because kids are so stupid. And
Yeah.
I hope these stories maybe help them realize that they are not immune to things. So this guy was driving his blue car and I'm in the back seat and he's like, haha, let me put your glasses on. And I'm like, okay. And so
Prescription glasses, by the way.
I am so blind.
Strong
I have
prescription
astigmatism and
glasses.
everything. And so I hand him my glasses, and within seconds of him putting them on, he doesn't T-bone, he rear ends someone, but rear ends them hard enough that he totals his car.
What an idiot.
It happened so fast, and it was one of the first car accidents I was ever in. Stupid.
Yes. Well, I feel like that's what most people would say is like their first accidents were when their friends were driving. Like when I was growing up in Virginia, my house was on the top of a mountain, and you had our driveway went straight up and down. So the house was at the top, so you had to go all the way down. And when my best friend got her license, she drove her parents' minivan over to pick me up so we could. I think we were going to like a basketball game or something, and her brakes went out as we were going down the driveway, and neither of us knew what to do.
And
We
there's
didn't
like a
think to
busy
pull the
road
e-brake.
at
It
the
was
bottom,
a
right?
highway at the bottom. Yes.
The Floridian in me is shaking. I cannot stand
Yes.
hills.
And like on the other side of the highway is just a free fall. So like the only thing, do you want to know what caught us? What kept us from going? We crossed the highway. Still neither of us were like, e-brake, e-brake, e-brake. No. We went, and the only thing holding the van from like going down this huge like ravine was thorn bushes. These thorn bushes basically like held the car, and we had to like crawl
Thank God for
out.
nature.
I see those bushes on the side of
Jesus.
like mountains like that where it's like a steep fall, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I think that's all you have to rely on
Yes.
if you take a
Yes.
tumble.
I was like, the car was like moving and we were like trying to crawl out, like,
That's like
No.
oh my
and my
God.
parents
That's some
actually,
Indiana
like, they were
Jones
like
shit.
rushing down the driveway because my parents would like sit on the front porch and smoke cigarettes. They saw us get into the accident and they couldn't get to us fast enough because our driveway was so long. So they, like, by the time we got out of the car, they were already at the bottom of the driveway, like screaming and calling her parents, and like they called an ambulance. We never made it to that basketball game.
No, you
But
did
you're
not.
alive.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're still
somehow survived that. And then like
Grey's
I was
Anatomy.
in several accidents as a teenager. I didn't get my license until I was 18 because I was terrified of driving because all my friends got in accidents and I was in the car.
I don't blame you when you have a horizontal, vertical driveway.
It was steep. It was steep. Yeah.
I am
it was
still
scary.
not good with inclines, or what are they called here? The 6% grades and higher.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like them.
It's scary.
It is
fun.
scary.
I used to like palm sweaty mom spaghetti grip the
no.
steering wheel driving down those things when I would have to go to like Grants Pass or out to like, you know.
There was
driven on some scary roads. I'm not a fan. Like Florida's way.
I took
it's
that
scary.
Grants Pass to Wolf Creek drive very quickly
Often.
one time.
You told
One time,
me about this.
Yeah, very quickly. That might be a story for a different episode. I was kind of lawless in that story. I guess all these stories I have been. Shit.
This is a new side of story for the majority of
I
our
know.
followers.
She's a mother now.
It's so interesting where we started.
I've lived, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. We all have. Yeah, we all that's
have.
what I think it's so cool that like I don't a lot of my friends haven't had that traditional just like you go to high school, you go straight into college and then like go get a job. Like we've all like almost all of my friends, we didn't go to college right away. If we did, it was like later in life and we like had all this life experience that like I'm intern coordinator at my job, so like we were just in such a different place at our age than like the interns that I have. And there's pros and cons to both sides for sure. Like
for sure.
I'm not saying either way is right, but I just think it's cool that we have like a different story. Like we all have, I don't know, such a robust life experience, I feel like.
Yeah. I do often attribute it to growing up in Florida. What a
Me too.
Place.
Thanks for coming on, show.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
This was such a good experience. A great first guest.
For sure,
well,
yeah.
I just think you guys are doing so great. And I know I've told Tori this, but I just think you guys have such a flawless banter and you're both so like effortlessly funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you guys got something really cool going on here.
Oh, I love
we
that.
really like doing this. It has been a really good outlet and it has been really good. Like we've been very consistent about like, okay, we always record typically on Saturday morning we record, but we've moved it to Sunday a few times just because mom life. But like we've been really consistent with it, I feel like, and it's been a really nice thing to have.
Yeah, I finally found something I can like be creative with.
Yeah,
which is cool. I didn't think I could be creative.
Yeah, I feel similarly. I've always had like a connection to, talk radio and podcasts and a morning. I used to be a morning show listener.
Yes.
Like I just love talk radio, and this just always felt like a kind of a natural ascension of things. So yeah, I totally relate.
Speaking of that, you've got a podcast coming out soon, right?
Yeah. So my partner and I are starting a podcast called Doubling Down, with your hosts, Shoshana and Aaron Downs. And we
government name.
She did use his government name. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his name works more with the title.
True.
Well, government name me elsewhere.
It loops in. I could see that. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, we're just, first time parents living millennial life and with twins. and just kind of going to talk about our experiences. So definitely looking forward to it. We've got some cool ideas coming up. We are called Doubling Down, and you can find us on Instagram, doubling down __ or on TikTok, Doubling Down.
Yay.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've been seeing some of the content you guys are making, and I like it, just like on TikTok and stuff. I'm really excited to hear the podcast. Okay, follow us on Instagram at Out of Touch, the letter P cast. Follow us on TikTok at Out of Touch Moments. You can email us. Thank you to the person who emailed us. I don't want to say your name because I don't know if she wants her name out there, but
so exciting.
Yeah,
we were our entire week. Like,
you
that
really
was the
did.
highlight of our week, was getting an email.
I actually had like a sad day, and I texted Amber and I was like, I'm gonna go back and read our fan email to cheer myself up. So we really appreciate that. Anyone else who wants to reach out, if there's anything you want to hear, any like episode topics or anything you want us to talk about, send us an email at outoftouchcast@gmail.com.
Boom.
You guys are killing it. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, and one last thank you to Shoshana for being here with us. Super appreciate
Shoshana
it.
Greenberg, everybody.
Shoshana Greenberg.
Shoshana Greenberg, if you will.
Amazing.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.